Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Today's a new series. It's called Guide to Games Rooms. So a lot of passion and effort went into making my own games room. A lot of research also went into it, which is why I wanted to really do this series on interviewing Instagrammers as well as YouTubers on how they made their games rooms. So this is going to be an interview style series where we do a Zoom call with the owners of specified games rooms and also then talk about the features of their games rooms through pictures that they've sent in prior to the interview. So why am I doing this series? Well, this series aims to shed a light on the passion that has gone into building a certain person's games room. A games room is not just a place to play games, it is a place to chill, and it's a physical display of nostalgia from their past. It's also a place to share memories with friends and family. I know I can't wait to share memories in this room with my son when he's old enough. Really looking forward to that. But without further ado, we're going to get into the first episode, and this is the only time you'll see this intro, and that is with Marcus from Dads and Lads Gaming. Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. This is the episode 1 of Guide to Games Rooms. Today we've got Marcus from Dads and Lads Gaming.
Hiya there, you alright?
Yeah, good yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
So without further ado, we're going to crack into some questions that are sort of interview-based questions on the surrounding bits of Marcus's games room. We're going to answer the same ask the same questions to everyone who comes on this series. So getting down to it, question 1 is, so when did the games room first appear?
Well, this is, I've been married, 23 years now, so this is my third house, so this hobby isn't something that I've just got into like a lot of people have in the last few years. I've always had a games room of some sort, but the last 2 houses, I had small, little, pokey sort of box rooms, I guess.
Yeah.
Where you try and make the best of the space you've got. But finally, when we moved to this house, it was a house we never envisaged having to move from again. And I'm lucky to have lots of space. So to start with, when my boys were younger, we had one room on the top floor of the house. And something I would tell everybody, all the time we've had this house, we had a spare bedroom for guests to come and stay in. So how many times do you think that's ever happened in 10 years, for example? Once. So I would always say to anybody is, if you've got the space, use it for what you want to use it for and have fun with it. So now I've basically got 2 full rooms on the top floor of the house, and it's absolutely superb. Loads of space to do pretty much with anything I want to, and it's just it has taken a long time to get to this place, but it's just been a gradual process. For example, we used to have just a couple of TVs in one room, and now that's developed massively, where in the other room I've got about 8 TVs set up now. It's just crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, so what year was that you moved into that house?
I moved here, let me think, about 2010, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been here about up to nearly 12 years.
Yeah, I thought it was around then because I noticed you had a FrameMeister upscaler, and I looked that up because I knew it was an older upscaler and it's from 2011. I presume you got that towards the start.
I got that. Again, it's just something I'm really into, like trying to get the best out of all the consoles. I mean, that doesn't come across in our channel because I've mentioned before, our channel is more about trying to have fun with me and the lads, you know, but I love all the nerdy stuff in the background, so I'm always striving to get the best out of all the consoles and also try and just get the best out of recording the consoles as well, you know, just the little nerdy things that no one cares about. But I care about these things. I like the little details, you know.
Yeah, it's nice for a room to be seamless as such and look as good as it can be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that kind of leads us on to question 2. So you've already half answered it, but how long did it take to build, or was it a slow evolution? So from the sounds of things, it was a slow evolution.
It was.
But as for when did you first think, oh, I can sort of use this room and not be worrying about building it out, sort of thing?
Like you say, when my lads were younger, a lot younger, I had a couple of screens set up near the room, and we'd come upstairs, have fun. I mean, I've got old pictures of them somewhere where they're playing like Mario on the N64 and on the GameCube at the same time, and I'm doing something on another screen. So it was mostly about the three of us being able to play things as and when we wanted, you know, out the way, so we weren't being noisy for the wife, that kind of thing. But then as they've got older, I've like watched other YouTube videos, other YouTubers, and I've been influenced by certain people, and that's made me think, oh, I can do something else with this room, something more interesting, you know. And since then, I've always loved playing games with people. So it's always been about co-op, which obviously, as in this age now, it's more about online co-op. So that obviously influenced me as well. Having multiple screens, so when people came round, we can play on these co-op games on different screens, which we do as often as we can, and it's great fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely been an evolution, but there are the occasional sort of local multiplayer games that come out. Yeah, most notably, it was last year. There was a game called It Takes Two. I don't know if you played that, but
I'm aware of it, and I want it. It's just one of those things. Yet again, I have a long list of things I intend buying eventually, and I'd love to play through that. It looks really good.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but it was definitely the best co-op game I played last year.
Yeah, definitely looks good. It looks great.
Right. So, question 3 might be a bit of a different style question. So where did the inspiration come from to actually have a games room? Did it come from other channels or other people you know in real life?
Well, I think when you, as soon as I moved into my first house, when I was at 1997, I've always had a little small box room of some description, because I'm not one of these people who are classed as a collector as such, who's just got into it in the last 5 years. I've always just kept the games I've always owned. So most of the stuff I've got from my childhood, even when I was living at home, I have a twin brother, and in our bedroom we always had our Amiga, our Atari ST set up, and then obviously things like the N64. So we've always had those set up as such in our bedroom. So when that evolved, when I bought my first house, I had a little box room with my consoles set up. And now obviously it was a lot smaller scale than what it is now, but that developed into the next house, and then this sort of final house we're living in, I've just ramped it up massively since then, so that everything's on shore and everything's plugged in, ready to go at the touch of a button, basically.
Yeah, it's nice you kept everything in childhood. It's
There is two things I've gotten rid of. In the early 90s, when I was getting into my cars, that kind of thing, I got rid of a Japanese Mega Drive and a lot of really wonderful shooters, and also our original Amiga. So they're big regrets, but I've never really got rid of anything other than those two items in my entire life. I've always kept things, tried to keep them in good condition and look after them, and ultimately play on them still and enjoy them.
Yeah, that's really nice. Right, so question number 4. Is there a favourite item or feature of your games room? So from my perspective, a feature would be all of my consoles are plugged into one HDMI port, so like you say, it's ease of access. But is there a specific feature or item in your games room that is your favourite?
If I just go back, I will answer that. If I go back to the previous question, because I got ahead of myself slightly. More recently, two influences I've had with the games room in its like sort of final format, I would say, is My Life in Gaming, which is obviously a massive channel. Because I watched one of their early room tours, because I've said I'm obsessed with room tours. So I watched one of their early room tours where I saw how everything was set up to record gameplay and play on multiple screens. I thought, oh, I quite like that. So they were a big influence. And more recently, when you look at how many CRTs I've got now, there's a channel in America called CRTcade. Not a big channel, maybe about 4,000 subs. But if you're looking like last 5 years, he has some of the most wonderful room tours. Rooms just basically full of CRT monitors, which is a bit of an obsession of mine. So I watch them, and whenever you watch his room tours, he doesn't do a lot of talking. You just hear the games run in the background, and even though it's just a games room, it just sounds like the heaven. Like it sounds like what an arcade should sound like. So that was an influence, sort of. I would guess in maybe his last 5 years, something like that, and that's probably has massively influenced the final evolution of what our games room is at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds like a big influence. I'll have to check that channel out. Yeah, My Life in Gaming is an awesome channel.
It's my favourite channel, without doubt.
Yeah, their Analog Frontiers documentary, that was incredible.
Oh, absolutely tremendous. I watched them again just the other night. I've been ill recently, so I've been stuck in bed for a while. So I watched through the Analog Frontiers again a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, I've watched it twice as well. It's one of those series you could just go back to because it's just
Oh, definitely, yes. It's
it
superb.
reinvigorates your love for it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, so that question we moved away from slightly. So that it's what's my current favourite thing in the setup? Was that the one?
Yeah, so favorite feature or item.
Yeah. Well, I think probably my favourite. It's difficult to answer that one because at the moment, you know what it's like. You go through certain phases in your rooms. One minute you're on one thing, but at the moment I'm actually loving my Tommy gave me his old PC, which sounds bad, but it's actually only about 3 years old. And it's tremendous. It's the best PC I've ever had.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying revisiting a lot of the point click adventures on there. But for more retro inspired stuff, in the other room I've got I'm looking to have a BVM, a 20-inch BVM, and it's absolutely beautiful picture on it. So every time I put any of the old retro on that, it's just the best thing ever. I just love it. Even just watching stuff. I just love playing on it, and just watching gameplay on it. It's marvelous.
Yeah, what brand is that? Is that a Sony Trinitron, something like that?
Well, it's a Sony. There's two sort of models. There's a PVM and a BVM. The BVM is normally considered to be the better. It's like a broadcast video monitor rather than a professional video monitor. And the BVM, without getting too boring, like I think a standard CRT is normally about 450 TV lines.
Mm-hmm.
The PVMs I've got, I think they're between about 600 and 700, but the BVM's 1,000 lines, so it's really has got a beautiful picture on it, and I just love looking at it. I just looking at any gameplay on it, it just looks tremendous.
I could honestly say I'm jealous of that. That actually might lead us on to the next question, which is, what is the most expensive item in the games room? So I know PVMs can be very expensive, especially as they need an expert to sort of repair them and stuff. But is that the most expensive item, or is there something else?
I mean, I'm not one of these people who I don't look at cost of things, because most of my things I've bought, I've had them for years.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got a Neo Geo AS. I think that's probably quite expensive nowadays, but I don't want to sell it. I don't ever envisage selling it. So the cost really means nothing to me. The BVM, the PVMs, yes, they are expensive, but I managed to get some of them at auction, which wasn't too bad. It meant I had to drive to the side of the country, which wasn't very good. But I got them at auction, so the price wasn't too bad. The BVM, I actually traded a PVM for it with a bit of cash, so that in itself wasn't a big outlay. But I think probably that the most expensive item, as I just said, is probably that the PC I was gifted by Tommy. It's an awesome PC. That's probably the most expensive item at the moment. But will it be expensive and valuable in 10 years' time? Probably not.
Yeah,
the BVM will be, I would think, So I don't think the PC is going to hold its value like some of the retro items I've got.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of tech just depreciates like hell.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Right, so question number 6. What do you think you play most in the games room? So I think I know the answer to this question from watching your channel and Tommy taking the piss out of it all the time. But
I am spending more and more time on point-click adventures. I'm obsessed with them. I love playing them, but actually, the time I like playing them most was when I was living at my mum and dad's, sharing a bedroom with my brother. We play them together, which doesn't sound like the most interesting thing, but actually playing a point-click adventure with someone else is great fun, because two minds are better than one, basically. So you'd fire ideas off, and in them days, even though there wasn't any, there was no internet, you couldn't find answers to anything. We pretty much finished every point-and-click adventure we ever used to play just through trial and error, and again working together with somebody. So I miss that aspect of it. But I'm always, even though I don't just like retro games, I like gaming. So I'm playing modern and retro all the time. But I'm always got a point-and-click game running in the background. I'm always playing a point-and-click adventure at some point. And that tends nowadays to be upstairs on this PC, because it's comfortable, it's easy to record gameplay, and it works absolutely flawlessly.
Yeah, it's a nice genre to sort of go back to that simplicity, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, I can fully understand this whole nostalgia thing from playing it back in the day when there was no internet and you couldn't just Google how to complete the game sort of thing. You just spend hours and hours trying to actually complete it yourself. And
I seem to recall years ago, Discworld on the PS1, which is, I think a lot of people know, is quite a difficult game, quite obtuse puzzles in it. And I do actually think, I remember once ringing a helpline, and it took about 45 minutes to speak to somebody. I mean, you might imagine how much money that must have cost to get through a helpline to answer one question. Not like now when you get a full walkthrough in a matter of seconds, can't you?
yeah, no, that's really cool. As my suspicions were confirmed, it seems. So, any challenges or problems that are still like unsolved in your games room? Do you have any sort of technical challenges or something you want to upgrade hardware-wise? Or
I'm always looking. I've got like plans now to upgrade certain aspects of both the rooms. Basically, I'm always looking to change things around. I think recently an issue I've had is I've also got an open source scan converter. I've basically got an upscaler in each room, and like I said, I love this nerdy techie stuff. So the OSSD is superb for upscaling the old consoles, but it's really difficult to capture gameplay on it with an Elgato, which I've discovered. So for Christmas, just a couple of weeks ago, I've got a new little AverMedia device, which is actually predominantly designed to record, use a camera as a webcam, a standard camera. So I got it for that, but without realising it, it's now solved my problem of recording gameplay on the OSSC. It just works. It's not designed to do that, but it works. So that's been a big problem recently, because I always try, even with our just little stupid family channel that we've got, it's all about fun, but I still, whenever we record gameplay footage or anything, I try to get it the best I can, rather than just recording off a screen, which, don't get me wrong, I would never knock anyone for doing that, but I'm obsessed with trying to get the best footage every time we record anything, and it caused a problem whenever we did it in this particular room. So now there's one little problem I had recently, which I've unwittingly solved by getting a bit of kit for something else, actually.
yeah, that's a nice solution. I never knew Elgatos had that sort of issue. I think I recently purchased the Elgato HD60S Plus.
I've got the HD60S, so not the Plus. So maybe it would work with the Plus. I don't know. I've just got the S.
The only reason I chose the S Plus was it's basically seen by the computer as a webcam stream.
Yeah.
So it's not seen as like a recording device as such. It's actually seen as a webcam. Which is actually how I'm recording my video right now, because I'm using my DSLR.
Well, it looks good.
But it records from like 240p all the way up to 4K, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice solution. And have you ever? Well, you might have heard of it. RetroTink have released the Rad 5X now, haven't they?
5X, yeah. Oh, it's on my list. I'll get one of those eventually. So again, do I need it really? No, because I've got the Framemeister, which
is that
some people don't like aspects to it.
Upscale more than twice?
Yeah, well, I mean, without getting into, I think the Framemeister is an upscaler, and the OSSC is actually a line doubler.
Yeah. Which
to most people wouldn't know what that means, but I understand what it means, and so there is a slight differences with them both. But the 5X looks like it just works flawlessly right from the start with most things. So that does appeal to me. That sounds really good, and it'll work. I mean, I think it's quite good for PS2 in particular, which the Framemeister struggles with. You know, so Interlist, 480i. So it'd be good because it'll be a plug and play solution for pretty much everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit of a expensive product, but yeah, as you say, it looks awesome, and it's got a really good sort of what do you call it, developer sort of backing to it. So
yeah,
I've seen the resolution switching on it is just second to none for things.
Yeah, because Framemeister, there's a delay there. Things like Sega Saturn, where you're going in like 480i in menu screens to 240p, you got a couple of second delay, which never bothered me. But I know some people playing fighting games, for example, said it really you're losing at the start. You're losing your image, you know.
Yeah, that could be annoying to say the least.
Oh, definitely. Well, at least it'd be something to blame if you got beat.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so question number 8. Any upcoming changes to your game's rooms as such?
Yeah, I'm planning some this year, hopefully, because I'm lucky enough, like I say, because this is our house is of a decent size. I tend to play all my current gen gaming in the living room. I've got a big 75-inch TV with a 7.1 sound system. It does sound tremendous, but I'm just thinking I'm going to get a new TV to probably more for movie watching, and that means I'll have another 75-inch TV to put in the room. So straight away, bigger TV. I'll have to move things around slightly, but I want to. I'll have that old amp as well, which don't get me wrong, it's only 4 years old. So I'm now going to probably think about putting a 5.1 sound system in the other room as well. So I'll pretty much just do all my gaming upstairs in the games room, right, and just watch movies downstairs. Because I don't know, it's a better environment up here. You come and sit up here with all the games. It makes you want to play games. Whereas sometimes when I'm sat down in the living room, I'm just lazy. I just watch YouTube, I watch movies. And don't get me wrong, there's just not enough hours in the day. I love playing games, so I think if I was up here more, I'd be more inclined to play more games. So that's the plan anyway. So and then that'll sort of coincide with maybe he's introducing. Tommy wants to start streaming, so that might coincide with getting maybe another monitor for the PC here, so he can do a bit of streaming up here when he's playing stuff. So again, just little things. Hopefully, I'll resolve this year. But when's the game ever finished? We're always thinking of something, aren't we?
Yeah, there's always something.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I fully understand the whole just going in the games room and like not forcing yourself, but it's just a nice place to sit and relax. And sometimes it's just nice to look through your games and then you think, oh, I might play that sort of thing.
Oh, definitely. I love it. I could honestly come up here sometimes. And don't get me wrong, we've all got the problem of having too many games. I do totally get that, and that is a problem. But I like coming up here, looking through the shelves, and just shove something on. You might only play for 20 minutes or so, but it's just best thing in the world. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I always tease my wife because it's kind of like the women's equivalent of I've got nothing to wear.
Oh, definitely.
Right, so final question before I get into my favourite bit of your room, and that is any tips for people who are thinking of building their games room. So if say someone's moved into their first house, got a spare room, thinks I'll build a games room in that little room. Might be small, it might be massive, but what tips would you give to them?
Well, one thing, again, you see my rooms, they're all like tidy, but for me, it's because I've planned them out. It sounds stupid, but you see a lot of people, and again, I would never diss anybody. As long as you're happy, I couldn't care less. I'm not a negative person. If you're happy, fair play to you, but I plan everything, so I know where things are going to go, and all it does literally take. Sometimes I'll put things down on paper. Where am I going to put these monitors? How am I going to connect the consoles up? Rather than just ramming stuff in a room, then thinking, oh, that's in the way. So to me, it's all about the planning and preparation phase for a games room, rather than just piling stuff into it. And that's what I've always done. Even I've had my box rooms in the other houses with one screen or two screens, but I've had multiple things set up where I can play at the touch of a button. That to me is key, because that would put me off if I was having to wire things in every time I want to play on something. I like the immediacy of my rooms. You can walk in, I turn the power on, use the Extron switching devices, and I'm good to go in seconds. So that to me is the most important thing. Plan your room out, plan what you want to play on predominantly, and make sure it's always there, ready to go at the touch of a button.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. Yeah, I'm the same. I did a ton of planning before I even moved into the house that we bought to build this room.
Even down to sockets. I see people. I mean, when I've had these rooms done, I spent a long time waiting for the opportunity to do them. But before I put everything in them, I've got about another 10 sockets fitted all over the place, because I planned where I was going to fit things in and where I wanted to plug things in. So I haven't just got one extension cord running around the entire room, because all the cables are out the way. I planned where cables were going into the walls. I've had like brush plates fitted in the walls in the other room, so I can like chase cables in afterwards if I need to. So again, all of this was planned. I didn't just think one day I'll ram it in and afterwards think, oh, should I put that in? but it was all planned. Honestly, it's important. Plan it before you do it.
Yeah, it's boring but fun.
I know. Don't get me wrong. It is boring, but I love that side of it. I could just sit and plan things all day. I love it. Honestly, I love looking at things where I can put things. It's great.
Yeah, there's definitely those weird conundrums that come up when you're planning a room. I think the most confusing bit for me when I was building my room was I think I discovered that the Nintendo GameCube. So I've got a Carby out the back of my GameCube. It's just basically a HDMI out, but it's converted. It's an open source sort of adapter, but that's outputting at 240i, I think, and then it jumps into 480 when it jumps into a game, I think. But that initial menu screen of 240i, I was putting it into an unpowered HDMI switch, and it just wouldn't work. And I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And then it just turns out that a lot of these like cheaper HDMI unpowered switches, they don't have that functionality of that lower resolution.
Yeah.
So there's weird things like that you just got to test really before you sort of implement everything.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like I say, planning and preparation.
Yeah.
Boring as hell. Worth it when you get to the final setup of the room, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for answering all those questions.
No problem.
I'll quickly just jump into. So this is the final bit of the video, guys. This is about my favourite bit of the interviewee's room. So the thing I noticed that has actually been mentioned already in this episode is there's sort of like I know you're not into your IT, but well, you kind of are, but you don't work in IT. But there's definitely a server rack sort of aesthetic with some of your bits of your room. So, like you mentioned, there's the Extron switches, and you've also got the FrameMeister, and it's a very technical looking room.
Well, the thing about that, you know, Dale, is even though I love tardiness and cables being out of sight, I like the look of a server rack.
Yeah.
So I could easily blank the back of that unit off, but I like the look of all the cables in it. Daft as it is, because I think they're supposed to be there. I've never changed it, so I do actually like the look of that thing with the cables all hanging down.
Yeah, the server rack aesthetic is something I've not seen before in like other people's games room. But you're right. I think from my point of view, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I do. I like that. It's a nice little. And again, I got that for free on an auction with the PVMs.
Yeah.
Thought to myself, can I use that? So I painted it black, and it's so adaptable. Really, people should consider them more for games rooms. Those server racks. Put a couple of the cheap server trays in there, which are readily available from Farnell's, that kind of thing, and you've got a really good space-saving option.
Yeah, they're just so easy to sort of wire, aren't they? And adjust things and
definitely.
Well, that was my favourite bit of the room. Any final thoughts or what's coming up on the channel?
No, we're just gonna we've never been ones for like trying to follow trends or anything like that. We make videos that we like making. For example, we have a gameplay video, what we've been playing. It doesn't get loads of views, but it's Tommy's favourite video. He looks forward to every month because he loves showing off his stupid FPS skills. we always and pick up videos. They're not everyone's cup of tea. I love them, so we do one once a month, or we try to. I'm trying to do more challenge videos because again, I like playing the lads at old games. I like embarrassing them whenever I can. So it's I'm trying to do at least one video a week, which is difficult because I work full time. I work a certain shift pattern, which isn't always compatible with Tommy's shift pattern because he works away from Monday to Friday. So it's difficult, but I'm trying to at the moment do at least one video a week because ultimately it means I'm playing games, and I like making YouTube videos. It's good fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cheers for that, Marcus. I'm gonna stop the recording now.
Pleasure, mate.
I'll just chat to you after. All right,
Cheers, buddy.